Hi, this is my response to the video. So, the first negative example of Mary and Geraldine. Mary, the counselor, I did not like right off the bat that she had told Geraldine, I heard you wanted to see me. What's going on? What's happening? And that just shows that Mary off the bat kind of didn't check on Geraldine. She was acknowledging that she made that effort. And it kind of is like you're not meeting your client halfway and being like, oh, thank you. I wanted to see you too. Like you're saying, like, oh, it was your ideas that were here. So what's up? Second, I was feeling uncomfortable because I was feeling the same way that Geraldine was feeling as a high schooler, nervous about college. No one had done it in my family before. So I get how nervous she was and how stressed out she could have been. So it really made me uncomfortable because Mary kept cutting her off. And I was top of my class too, and I remember people telling me that, oh, it's okay, you're gonna do good because you're smart and you've always been good at school. But it was like it's a deeper emotional level that I'm a little nervous about, and that's how Geraldine was feeling. And Mary was just very focused on how she's such a good student and how her grades are great and how she that there was no reason to be nervous and that she's sure she was gonna like do good. And yes, we always love to make the client and who we're talking to feel good about themselves. However, we're not like Mary was not acknowledging her feelings. She could have acknowledged her feelings and been like, "You are great. Like I could feel that you're feeling mad and I'm hearing that you're upset. Have you ever thought about thinking about the great things that Geraldine has to offer?" Like she could have tied it in if she wanted to. She didn't have to dismiss the feeling of uncomfortability or an uneasiness that Geraldine had at first. I'm just looking down at my little notes. But what my physical reaction was disgusted because Mary kept cutting her off. And if that's one thing I hate that people do is cut other people off, and kind of dismiss the problems. Dismissing the issue as a counselor, especially, is the opposite of what they tell us to do. So, right off the bat, Mary was messing up. What things could the therapist have done different? Let Geraldine talk and let her feel comfortable about her situation. And she could have just been a listening ear. She could have just been a listener and really let Geraldine talk. And she did that in the positive example. But what she could have done different is let her speak and fully expressed her thoughts. Maybe she was just nervous and she just needed to get it off her chest. But the counselor was so dismissive that we couldn't even figure that out about Geraldine. Um, what were the nonverbal signs of the client that was not supportive? I feel like Geraldine really looked like stuck when she was looking at Mary. Like she wanted to say something, but she was just like mouth wide open because she couldn't believe that Mary was not letting her speak. Besides being a bad example, what could have the counselor been thinking as they engaged in this? I feel like she could have been thinking of how to ask like Geraldine what she needed from her, like as a counselor. Not like what do you need from me, but she could have been that support system, and instead she dismissed a bunch of the problems. So, and then the positive example, it was really good because I loved how she was like getting like understanding her without saying I understand you. She she said in the beginning that like with the sentence stems, a lot of them she used like I hear what you're saying. So if I'm right, you're feeling mad and you're feeling upset. Or like after Geraldine told her how nervous she was about the whole situation about college because of her family, she could have said like, so I'm getting the sense that you're nervous and you're doubting your abilities. Something like that. And that's what she did in the positive video. So I really enjoyed that. Um, why did this session work better? Because she let Geraldine talk and she validated those feelings after she spoke. She repeated the things that she was saying, and she got clarification. She did her paraphrasing so well and really was clear about how she not clear about how she was gonna help, but clear that she was listening and she was trying to like absorb everything that Geraldine was giving her. So that was really good of her. Um, and the nonverbal behaviors of the client, I felt like she was more towards Mary, and she seemed like nodding her head, like actually understanding, like engaging with someone, not just stuck at Mary looking at her because she couldn't believe that she wasn't letting her talk. um what are your feelings about the counseling this session? I thought she was great. I thought she taught me a lot about how sometimes I might rush into the conclusion or a solution to a problem, and sometimes people just need you to validate their feelings so they could really open up. Like, if I was going off about being scared about college and stuff, and someone just validated my feelings, which ended up happening because I was nervous to go to college. But once my feelings are validated, like, I'm like, you know what? Yes, I am feeling nervous and upset, and I feel like that was normal. And that's kind of what Geraldine did. A good counselor allows you to be yourself and allows you to open up, and creates a space where that's necessary. And in the beginning, in the negative example, Mary was not creating the space, and it was obvious and it was clear how night and day the negative and positive example were. What is your natural approach to dealing with people who are in emotional distress? Listening to them. I feel like that's the best thing you can do for someone who is emotionally distressed is to listen to them. I know when I'm not calm and when I'm in a place of being overstimulated, I love when people just hear me out. And I feel like that is the best thing you can have as being a counselor. You're not going to have all the answers, and you're not going to cure any um, of your clients' problems the first day you meet them. But understanding them and hearing them out is going to get you a long way. So, can it be a challenge in a highly emotional situation? Yes, it could be, because when people are going through hard things, it's sad to validate it and be like I understand where you're coming from, or like you don't really understand. So validating their emotions, that could be hard, because if the situation's really upsetting, then you're just listening to them being in distress. But as counselors, that's why we're here, to help and to allow you to be yourself. So I enjoyed the videos though.